What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some pickups to talk about and a trip to HMV. So today I went to my local HMV and I got some pretty cool stuff. They had the usual 3 for £30 4K deal that's still going on. They do that from time to time and it still is actually ongoing. So if you want to go down to your own HMV and check that out, go and do it now. They've got some cool titles. Let's roll the footage on the HMV visitation. So we're on the 4K shelves. I didn't get every shelf because it would take me forever, but you've got Clockwork Orange there with a really nice slipcover, Cleto's Way, the new Candyman, the new James Bond movie. You got some good 2 for 30s, like the new Conjuring film is 2 for 30. The brand new Dune is out, but I forgot to pick it up, I was meant to. You got other such titles here. Old is a film I quite liked and I know a lot of people didn't like, unfortunately. I pick out, what do I pick out here? Oh yeah, I pick out First Blood Part 2. I love the Rambo films, I think they're fantastic. We're on to the horror section. The horror section had lots of great stuff. Candyman for $9.99 there. Fantasy Island for $6.99. Not seen that one, but I've heard it's pretty good. The Craft for $6.99. You got Halloween, 2 for £13. Malignant for $9.99, favourite film of last year, absolutely love it. Now these are the releases from 101 Films, the AGFA releases. I know Mondo Chervit Movies actually is quite enjoying collecting those titles. You got the new Resident Evil, which I really didn't like, so I won't be picking that up, unfortunately. I thought it was really bad. Got Underworld box set there. You've got some cool stuff. Spiral, I think it's one of the better Saw films in my opinion. So that was my visit from HMV. A good look in there. I do love my local HMV. I think it has a lot of great titles and a lot of kind of quite a good library of stuff to actually look through. And I thought the 4K section is always cool to look into because you never know what might be on the random sale from time to time, so that's always really cool. And also the horror section is always full up with really cool titles. So they had the 3 for £30 on 4Ks, and of course I had to indulge in that and pick up a few titles. So the first title I picked up is a film called The Cabin in the Woods. I saw this when this came out in 2011, I believe. And I absolutely fucking loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I still think it's absolutely fantastic. My mindset of this film is that it didn't attain the success that it most definitely deserved, in my opinion. I feel like this could have been a similar film in terms of its meta kind of concept and did for the horror genre that Scream did. So when Scream came out in '96, it absolutely flipped the script on horror films and made it kind of self-aware and kind of meta. Cabin in the Woods does the same kind of thing, and I feel like this film succeeds in what it does and really subverts expectations of what you would go in for a horror film for. And it's a shame that it didn't really capture an audience when it first came out, and I feel like it should be in that same playing field as Scream in terms of really kind of flipping the script of the genre, but unfortunately it didn't. I hope it's more highly gauged now. I'm not too sure what the actual horror fandom kind of how they consider this film to be, but I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to revisiting this in 4K. I bet it's going to be a pretty nice refreshing watch. So that's Cabin in the Woods. Next up is a fairly new 4K release. As soon as it came out, I knew I had to pick this up. I think it's actually a fantastic movie, and that is Collateral. Absolutely brilliant. Tom Cruise is on his vicious form in this. Absolutely terrifying in this movie. And yeah, Jamie Foxx is an awesome character as well. I think they both play off each other really well. And it's a thrilling, great pacing, great characterization. And I think it's a really good film about Tom Cruise's character, he's a hitman. He basically commandeers Jamie Foxx's taxi and basically says, you got to take me everywhere I want to go, or I will kill you. It is a very good movie. I highly recommend Collateral. I'm looking forward to see what this 4K is like. Next up on the 3 for 30, or the final third, I suppose, is a little hitman movie called Leon. I fucking love this movie, and you know, for £10 a go on these 4Ks, it had to be gotten. And yeah, slipcover as well. Yeah, this film is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. I absolutely love this film. I think it's brilliant. You've got some great actors in here as well. You know, Jean Reno and Natalie Portman, a very young Natalie Portman, and Gary Oldman, a very unhinged Gary Oldman in this film. I love it. You know, the scene where he's just like,
call everyone.
Everyone, sir?
Everyone!
It's so hammy and over the top, but I absolutely fucking love it. This film's a great kind of like hitman, kind of father and daughter sort of dynamic going on as well. It's excellent. It's just so good. So those were the 3 for 30 in HMV on 4Ks. But there was one other title I picked up because I couldn't leave it there, and it was only $9.99 with any purchase. The Shawshank Redemption on 4K. Now, hold on to your seats. I have never seen this movie. I know. I can hear the groans. I can hear it. I know a lot of people that absolutely adore this film. Some people would put it on their top of the lists of all time. I've seen it. I understand this film's got that such of a legacy, but never seen it. And for $9.99, like for these 3 for 30, when you're paying $9.99 for a 4K, you're just going to pull the trigger. And that's what I did here. I thought I had pulled the trigger on Shawshank Redemption and give it the long overdue watch for the first time. We're going to move over to CeX.
Get the films and games you want from CeX.
It's called CeX, you dick. So I picked up a Giallo movie from the 88 Films Italian collection. And that is a film called The Bloodstained Shadow. I've really getting into my Giallos lately. Films like The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Reds, Malignant, Last Night in Soho, those kind of movies. And so, yeah, I just really fancied another Giallo film, and this was right there. It was like, I think it was like £8 in CeX. So, you know, I do like these Italian collections as well. I probably won't collect them all, but I thought I'd grab this one. It's actually number 2, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, so it sounds really cool. I do like these Giallo movies. Yeah, that's The Bloodstained Shadow. Now, these are 2 Arrow sets. Really impressed with the prices of these in CeX. These are 4K limited editions. The first one would be Donnie Darko. Yes, this is that very famous horror, kind of weird time travel horror thing with Jake Gyllenhaal. Not a fan of this film. Never been a fan of it, but this was £20 in CeX, and it's complete with everything it came with. I couldn't leave it there, and it's a film that I've wanted to revisit for a very long time and see if I can digest it more and actually enjoy it. But yeah, that's Donnie Darko. That is the 4K limited edition, and it's absolutely packed with stuff, packed with features, and amazing artwork on the back there. The whole presentation is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that is Donnie Darko, the Arrow 4K limited edition. The next 4K Arrow limited edition comes highly recommended by Mondo Cellophonic Movies, John, and Keith of Euphoria Pictures. And that is a Dario Argento film, The Cat O' Nine Tails. Again, another Giallo, which I'm really into at the moment. And I'm hoping this one will be, you know, up there as a really good one. But yeah, for 20 quid again, for 20 quid, I couldn't leave this here. This is a fairly new release, so I'm really surprised at the price I paid for this, especially in CeX, because they tend to kind of mark up a bit too much on these Arrow collectibles. So yeah, that's the Cat O' Nine Tails. Moving away from CeX, we're going to go over to eBay. I picked up a couple of interesting titles from eBay this week. This next film is a 80s inspired, Goonies-esque, Stranger Things-esque movie. I think it came out in 2018 actually. I've heard great things about it. The concept sounds really cool, and there's a film called The Summer of '84. I watched a few reviews of this. It sounded really like my cup of tea. So yeah, I just thought I'd grab it. I picked it up for about £8 on eBay. Don't mind paying that. This is a German Blu-ray release. And yeah, Summer of '84, it sounds absolutely great. It's about a group of kids who strongly believe that their neighbour is a murderer. So it kind of gives me this kind of Goonies crossed with Fright Night kind of vibe. That is Summer of '84. Next up is a DVD documentary. A documentary that I don't think you see much talking about, and that is about movie posters. So this is a documentary called 24 by 36, a movie about movie posters. As movie fans, we've all said it at some point in our collecting lives, you know. Movie posters aren't the same as they used to be back in the day, the 70s, 80s, 90s. There was care and attention and some artistry involved in posters. And now, in modern times, they seem to be as boring as possible, you know, in terms of the marketing going into these things. But yeah, this is a documentary. It comes from Screenbound Entertainment. Picks up about £4. Pretty good. It sounds interesting. I do like these kind of documentaries. And this is a interesting documentary about something I do believe has kind of faded out, which is the movie poster. So that is 24 by 36, a movie about movie posters. Now we will move over to what I've added to my Anchor Bay collection.
Anchor Bay, baby.
So first up, I picked up the Sleepaway Camp trilogy on Anchor Bay. Never seen these films, but I know the original first movie is notorious with what its subject matter is about, and obviously it has a very shocking ending that I don't know nothing about pretty much, but I've always wanted to see it. It's one of those early slashers that I've really wanted to see, but the Blu-ray's really out of print. The standalone DVDs are still quite expensive now, and this was the cheapest way to get it. This was still quite expensive, £32 on CeX, but I pulled the trigger. Let's get on this. So that is Sleepaway Camp, the trilogy. Next up is a film that just seems like could be a raucously good fun, and that is simply called Madman. No rhyme and reason why I picked these up, guys. I just think Anchor Bay, the way they present their movies are really nice and just very simple, and I just feel they just look great on the shelf. And they're just all horror, and I will check them out eventually. But yeah, that's Madman. Next up is a film that I've been wanting to see for ages. I remember the remake came out with Elijah Wood. I was just like, I need to see the original. And that is a film called Maniac. This is one of the more difficult Anchor Bay titles to get. I actually got it for a fairly decent price. I think I paid about £7 for it, which I was quite happy. Most of the time it's a lot more than that. I've heard that this is quite a brutal horror film. Do love that cover art. I think it's fantastic. I wish this bit wasn't there. Would have been a bit better, but I digress. But yeah, that is Maniac. Next up is a cool, as it's presented, this DVD is really presented well. And that film is called Malevolence. Know nothing about this movie, but what made me pull the trigger on it, it has a slipcover. The slipcover is transparent. How cool is that, guys? It's pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, that is Malevolence. This is it sounds to be about a kidnapping mystery kind of horror film, but it sounds interesting. It was cheap. It's Anchor Bay. It had a cool kind of transparent slipcover, so I pulled the trigger and got it. The final pickup of this video, Anchor Bay, is a set that I didn't even know existed on Anchor Bay in particular, and that is the Wes Craven collection on Anchor Bay. You get Scream, The Last House on the Left, The Hills of Eyes, and Mind Ripper. That is one hell of a collection on Anchor Bay. Really happy to get this. I think it's presented really nice. Wes Craven. You've got Ghostface in the background. But yeah, that is the final thing in today's pickups. And my Anchor Bay collection is getting bigger by the moment. Absolutely love Anchor Bay right now. I'm really digging into the collection and actually adding more and more to my collection. That is it, guys. That is the pickups for this week. Let me know if there's anything in this stack that you would have picked up based on the price alone. I know those two Arrow 4Ks are definitely something that I would not have left there. I'm so glad I picked them up. As always, HMV smashing it with their deals. 3 for 30s, always great. And I feel like I got some really good 4K titles from that deal. As always, guys, I have been Jason, and if you're really enjoying these videos, you can watch another video right here.